On a rainy afternoon in Los Angeles, Jamie Dornan left the set in a state of confusion. He had just received news that Dakota Johnson was nearby, a fated meeting he had been waiting for months. But just minutes later, an unexpected accident occurred on the freeway that shocked Hollywood. Jamie's car skidded on the wet road, lightly hitting a guardrail. Luckily, he only suffered minor injuries, but what haunted fans was the timing. Right when he was on his way to find Dakota. Insiders recounted that before the accident, Jamie sent an unsent text message. "I need to see you, Dakota." The sentence made everyone shudder, as if fate was teasing the couple who had shaken the world with 50 Shades. After the incident, Dakota Johnson was said to have arrived at the hospital in silence. She did not say anything to the media, just held Jamie's hand for a long time. The scene left everyone who witnessed it speechless. Speech balloon, there seems to be a bond between them that never breaks, something that time and distance cannot erase, a source close to them shared. Dakota Johnson burst into tears in the hospital room. "I thought I lost you." No one thought that after so many years apart, the reunion between Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson would take place in a hospital room, where the smell of medicine mixed with the choking of two hearts that once belonged to each other. When the door opened, Dakota stood still. Jamie lay there, a white bandage on his forehead, his eyes still shining with a strange calm. She approached, her trembling hand touching him, whispering, "You scared me to death, Jamie. I thought I lost you." Jamie smiled weakly, her voice hoarse but warm. "You can't leave without telling me that you still love me." That moment, there was no longer the spotlight or the dialogue in the movie. It was the real Jamie and Dakota, two people who had gone through the glory and loneliness of 50 Shades together. Dakota burst into tears, tears falling on his hands. Outside the window, the afternoon sunlight gently seeped in, reflecting on two tightly clasped hands. No need for promises, no need for an audience. Just two hearts realizing that they had never stopped belonging to each other. A nurse recounted. When she left, he looked after her through the glass. His eyes were red but smiling. There are loves that, even without words, people still understand. Sparkles Like Fate, 50 Shades, is not only the movie that brought them together, but perhaps also a prophecy for an unbreakable relationship. Jamie Dornan speaks out after accident. "I don't want to lose Dakota again." After 3 days of absolute silence, Jamie Dornan finally appeared before the camera, still calm as usual, but in his eyes, something had changed. The short interview outside the hospital made Hollywood choke up. He paused for a few seconds before the reporter's question, then said softly, "I think, there are people, even if the whole world changes, you will always find them. Dakota is that person to me." No one dared to interrupt. That sentence was like a late confession, simple but profound enough to make everyone in the audience speechless. Jamie continued. "When the accident happened, the only thing I thought about was her face. I lost Dakota once, and I don't want that to happen again." A tear rolled down his cheek, no longer the image of the cold male lead of 50 Shades, but a real man facing the love of his life. The news spread quickly across social media. The hashtag Jamie and Dakota climbed to the top of the global trending list in just a few hours. Millions of fans wrote the same caption. "If this isn't fate, then what is?" For a rare moment, the world seemed to hold its breath waiting for Dakota Johnson's answer. She remained silent, posting a simple photo on Instagram, a gray sky after a rainstorm, with the small caption, "Some things never fade." Dakota Johnson breaks silence. "If he still loves me, I've never forgotten." 3 days after Jamie Dornan shocked the world with his hospital confession, Dakota Johnson finally spoke up. Not in an interview, not through a representative, but in her own trembling voice in a short video she posted to her personal page in the middle of the night. The light in the video was dim, only Dakota's eyes were red and unmade up. She began with a deep breath, then spoke slowly. "I watched his interview, and I cried. Not because it hurt, but because I realized. I've never forgotten. She paused for a few seconds, as if to swallow her tears, then continued. If he still loved me, then maybe I never stopped loving him. There are people, no matter how hard we try to forget, they still live forever in our hearts as part of destiny. The words echoed like a storm of emotions, making millions of fans unable to hold back their tears. Within an hour, the video had surpassed 10 million views. Comments were flooded with lines. They were born to find each other, no matter how many times they lost each other. 50 Shades is no longer a movie, but their true story. Hollywood media called this the confession of the century, when two stars who once made the world sob now stand on the border between the past and the future. At the end of the video, Dakota looked straight into the lens, smiling slightly through her tears. Jamie, if you're watching this, don't say anything. Just come. And then the screen went dark. No background music, no effects, just the sound of the viewer's heart pounding. Jamie Dornan responds to Dakota, I'm on my way. Soon after Dakota Johnson's video silenced the world, all eyes turned to Jamie Dornan. No one would have expected that, just a few hours later, he would set social media on fire again, with a short status, just 6 words long. I'm on my way, Dakota. Love letter. The tweet was posted at 2:47 a.m., and in just 10 minutes, it had exceeded 3 million shares. Fans everywhere were stunned, trembling, crying with happiness. This is no longer Hollywood, this is destiny. According to a source close to Jamie, he left Belfast that night. He postponed his filming schedule without informing the crew, bringing only a small suitcase and an old photo taken with Dakota on the set of 50 Shades Freed. Airplane, he didn't say anything to anyone, just left a note saying, I need to finish what destiny started. A member of the crew revealed. The next morning, reporters caught Jamie at the Los Angeles airport. Even though he was wearing a hat and glasses, he still couldn't hide his fierce eyes. The eyes of a man who had waited too long to love the right person again. When reporters asked where he was going, Jamie simply replied, to the place I should have never left. That sentence made the whole scene quiet. And then, like a resurrected film, people believed that he would go to the small beach house where Dakota often went, where the two of them watched the sunset together in 2018, before everything fell apart. Meeting in the rain, Dakota burst into tears when she saw Jamie at her door. It was a rainy Los Angeles night, the sky was pitch black as if it was trembling, waiting for something to happen. Outside the beach house, the sound of waves mixed with the sound of heavy rain. Dakota Johnson stood by the window, still awake, holding a cup of cold tea. Thousands of thoughts rushed back to her mind, memories, words, and even the message, I'm on my way, that had made her heart beat faster all night. Alarm clock 2:15 a.m. A knock sounded on the door. 3 beats, hesitant, as if the person knocking was also trembling. Dakota was startled, put down the cup, and walked slowly to the door. Outside, the rain was still pouring, and when the door opened a crack, she froze. Jamie stood there, drenched, breathing heavily, eyes red from the cold, but still with a small smile. He said nothing, just looked at her, as if afraid that one word would make this moment disappear. Dakota choked, tears mixing with the rain. You really came? Jamie moved closer, his voice hoarse. I promised. If there was another chance, I wouldn't let you go again. She didn't have time to say anything more. He pulled her into his arms, hugging her tightly, amidst the sound of the rain, amidst the rapid breathing of two hearts that had been lost for too long. There was no more distance, no more prejudice. There was only Jamie and Dakota, two souls finding each other again after so many years of silence. Outside the window, lightning flashed, illuminating that moment, an embrace that was both painful and breathtakingly beautiful. A witness living nearby recounted that he saw them standing in the rain for 10 minutes, not leaving each other for a single step. And when the door closed, the light in the little house flared up, warm in the cold night, as if the whole world had finally breathed a sigh of relief.